Okay, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pan-Africa Live Debate, another episode of the most interesting African debates. This is what is opening our debates for this year, and I'm glad to welcome you at Fairway Hotel. I will begin with a very sad message that the proprietor of this hotel died on December 27th in Canada, Vancouver, and he was the first KY Kabakayeka MP, Member of Parliament representing Kampala Central. That was the post-independence parliament. So he's at times called the first Member of Parliament in Kampala, because he was the first MP after the independence to represent Kampala Central on KY ticket. And he is Honorable Sherali Bandali Jaffa. He's the proprietor of this hotel. He's a great Pan-Africanist, by the way, and that is the reason why I would ask all of you to stand up for at least 1 minute. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been so many debates about the conventional doctors versus the traditional doctors. And my argument has been that one must be a byproduct of the other. That has been my argument, that's my thinking. One must be a byproduct of the other. We all know that the conventional medicine is got from herbals. You mix this and that and you make the other product, including preservatives and so on. So I would wonder if someone did not agree with me that one is the byproduct of the other. Because without the other ones, you may not make the other one. I am not mentioning which one. But without the other, you may not make the other one. So one is the byproduct of the other. Herbalism or herbology or herbal medicine is a use of plants for medicinal purposes, and the study of such use, plants have been the basis for medical treatment through much of human history. And such a traditional medicine is still widely practiced today. Modern medicine recognizes herbalism as a form of alternative medicine, as the practice of herbalism is not strictly based on evidence gathered using the scientific method. Modern medicine does, however, make use of many plant-derived compounds as the basis for evidence-tested pharmaceutical drugs. And phytotherapy works to apply modern standards of effectiveness testing to the herbs and medicines that are derived from natural sources. The scope of herbal medicine is sometimes extended to include fungal and bee products, as well as minerals, shells, and certain animal parts. Ladies and gentlemen, the information I have here shows that herbal medicine has been with us for as long as we have lived. And therefore, I am also told by this researcher that conventional medicine is a byproduct of herbal medicine. I don't know which one is right because I'm not a doctor. But I am glad tonight to be joined by great men and great women. On the conventional side, tonight they will be represented by Dr. Vincent Kafuzi Karuhanga, Friends Polyclinic and Ambulance Services. They are found on plot 8/10 Uganda House in Kampala. Ladies and gentlemen, a very big round of applause to Dr. Karuhanga Vincent. Okay. And on the other side, ladies and gentlemen, I've been joined by Professor Musasizi Abdukarim. He's a General Secretary, NACOTHA. NACOTHA is a National Council for Herbalists. National Council for Herbalists. He's a Secretary General. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew Numba Katusalo, your host. I'm the speaker of this show. I will begin with the herbalist. I will begin with Professor Musasizi. Professor Musasizi, I want you to give us a background of how you even became a professor, how you became to be doing what you are doing without passing our informal education, because we think, I and Dr. Karuranga, we think that for you to have that knowledge, someone must have put it into your head. How did you acquire that knowledge, and how important is what you are doing to the public?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think I will not repeat my names, though that I actually begin first of all maybe to ask the audience first to give us a sum, because we have come to exhibit what we are doing exactly. Whatever is asking is what we have come up with. It is exhibited in front of you to show that this is why I'm called a professor. Professor is the one who can produce something, who can teach other people, who can teach a nation, who can be relied on to improve or to develop the society. So the name, I think, I will not, before I go far, I'd like to ask the audience to know that we should understand two things. First of all, we should understand what does the word education mean, and how many types of education. Do we believe that those ones who goes in class and sit there for the whole day are those the people who only get to be informed or be educated? And who was the first to be educated? Who was the first professor to become a professor? And where did you went to school? I think this one we should rely on three things: from survey, study, research, analysis, then implementation. So that's where even the education came from. Because if you talk about the word, what we call education, what does a total of word education says? What does a total interpretation of word education? A word education, to interpret the word education, even today, we can ask ourselves if nobody can answer that question. Because a word education means a system. And a system is put by a human being through survey, study, research, analysis, then they come to implement. Because remember, we have two words. There is what we call formal sector and informal sector. For us as traditional health practitioners, the people who are using indigenous knowledge to make our people sustain, to make our people live with their lives better, we are coming through multicultural education system. Multicultural education system, it is through survey, study, research, analysis, then we come up with the implementation. Therefore, education, you see, if you look at a word, what we call formal sector cannot be there without informal sector. Because we have a word, what we call informal. Informal originates from the word information. Informal originates from the word information. And information is the one who, somebody who is informed is the one who can form. Therefore, the formal was actually it originates from informal, because without informal, somebody who is not informed cannot form. And something which is formed cannot form. The creator can create, but you person cannot create. That's why we should respect what we call multicultural education system and rely on the creator. Because for us we have a word what we call without creator, no creator. That is our actually was saying. I think you should even write it down. Without creator, no creation. Without creation, no nature. Without nature, no culture. Without culture, no indigenous knowledge. And without indigenous knowledge, no science. And without science, no technology. Because the whole existing nature, which is actually we are running through today, was actually made by our past, who did not even go to school, who did not study anywhere. And what we should rely on, we should accept that today, if you want to know the word education, the meaning of word education, the most people who are very, very well and actually who are informed, those are the people who go for practicals. Even if you go to school, later on they send you for what we call internship. Those internships, that's where you actually acquire some knowledge to assist you to run your business. Before you do that, you cannot come from what we do. For us, even we always laugh. Because there is what we call reading and studying, educating, training, and sensitization. All these they have different areas of actually somebody to get informed. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come here to enlighten you about our existence and what we are doing. But this is originally where we came from, and that's why we are in place. And today, when we are coming here, that's why I can say my brother Dr. Karuhanga, I was first of all challenge him. That, I don't know whether he has his fellow members, that today I have already exhibited what I'm doing, but can you ask him to exhibit?
Karuhanga also will exhibit what is.
Okay.
Especially when you fall sick.
We shall get
Especially when you fall sick, that's when you will exhibit.
Wonderful. And exactly, today in Uganda or in African countries, we have a lot of challenges. The challenge that we have, we normally think that reading books, we don't define the two, reading and studying. You are reading books, but you don't have something to implement. You cannot produce. That's why I was even challenging the Minister of Health. It's just consuming. Consuming does not generate anything. Today, we as herbalism, we can create jobs for people. We can produce the medicines to help our people. We can money generate for our country. But Minister of Health can only consume. And consuming, there's no any development. Unless whatever we get elsewhere can be spoiled and got finished. So, ladies and gentlemen, to come on the ground, we are requesting all people around, from young brothers and sisters, to understand that we should go down, we should go back and think twice. Because if you go to school, after the school, you come back, you go through the school, you read books. But after reading books, if you don't pick any component to come and apply it or utilize it, you remain as this is why I'm going to. You give me just a few minutes to pass through this document to show you that there is a difference between a drug and medicine. You go and look into the books, the definition of a drug and herb. There is a difference. It's unfortunate today, even National Drug Authority was fighting with us that they want also to be involved in drugs. Drugs is toxicity, is toxins in the measurement, whereby that somebody once you use it wrongly, you get a problem. That's how you should be guided. So let me maybe pass through this document a little bit. Read this one, yes.
A doctor does not have medicine to treat his eyes.
Okay.
My problem is that.
Okay.
Okay. Let me read for him. He has stated with the number one, conventional medicine considers heresy as a absence of disease. Yet, alternative medication views heresy as the absence or imbalance of body systems. 2. The causes of disease in conventional medication are pathogens, that is disease-causing microbes or biochemical imbalances. While in alternative medication, we regard it as a result of disharmony of the body systems. 3. Conventional uses drug, that is poison administered in small doses, surgery, radiation as key tools, whereas alternative medication uses a wide range of herbs, that is natural therapies and nutritional. 4. Conventional has side effects, whereas alternative medicine do not have side effects. Number 5. Conventional medicine has specialist doctors handling different body parts and considers the body systems independently. While in alternative medication, we do not have specialists in body parts and consider the body as one indivisible unit, stroke organism. Number 6. Conventional does not respect or follow natural laws, whereas alternative follows and respect the natural laws.
Ladies and gentlemen, expect at least some round of applause from each plate that is rising. I don't know whether you are so used to this information, but if you are not, and you find it is useful, you could actually give him a round of applause.
Number 7. Conventional medication seems to relieve or tends to relieve or give quick treatment, that is relief, as directed to do or prevent, whereas alternative medicine treats so gradually, that is by restoring, rehabilitating, and building the body's own defensive mechanism rather than the eradication of symptoms or mere symptoms. Number 8. Conventional medicine deals with the problems of fight illnesses by all means, not even when it needs cutting off some parts. Whereas alternative medication deals with the root cause, that is the cause of the problem. Number 9. Conventional medicine is not good at laying the foundation for treatment because it does not consider cleansing first, whereas alternative does so by considering cleansing first, where the Western would give a required drug for the problem. Number 10. Conventional medicine side effects have been ranked the 4th among the world race killer today, and has less or no impact on the first 3 killer diseases, that is the cardiovascular disease, the heart-related diseases, the malignant tumors, that is the cancer and what have you, diabetes and diabetes too. Those are the points you needed to read about. Okay, another. Okay.
There is last one.
That is diabetes. Alternative medicine has claimed no life yet, but gain good all clinical diseases and can relieve effects caused by Western medicine.
That is what I actually want to realize, that what we are doing, it is done practically, not theoretically, but practically.
So you think Dr. Karwang is doing theoretically?
Theoretically. And it's actually, we need him to come back. Actually, we are inviting you to come back and you share. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. He's eager to. Okay, Dr. Karwanga, take the floor. Can I have the microphone? Ladies and gentlemen, you're live on Great Africa Radio, Tropical FM, Teso FM, Voice of Usoga, and this show runs on TV Africa on Sundays at 2:30 p.m.
Thank you very much for inviting me here, first of all, to come and share with my brothers things to do with health, really. Those are very important issues. My real name is Vincent Kafuzi Karuhanga Bisanga Basaija Emfuzi Enyakwihahatira Nyamutalia Bagagi. What I mean is that I'm an orphan. My father was an orphan, but though I'm an orphan, I don't go to beg for food, and I don't use my hand to check whether the food has gone bad before I eat it. I know it has not gone bad. Now, that is the simple introduction. Now, modern medicine is a system in which medical doctors and other health care professionals, such as nurses, pharmacists, and other therapists, treat symptoms and diseases using medication, radiation, and surgery. It is also called allopathic medicine. So there are very many ailments and conditions which were fatal hundreds of years ago, but can now be treated and prevented with modern medicine. Now, everybody knows smallpox disappeared because of modern medicine. Polio is disappearing because of modern medicine. These are issues which we have lived with, and we have lived with the alternative medicine, and alternative medicine was unable to deal with. And when modern medicine came, now we are able to live much longer, 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, because this longevity is being brought about by modern medicine, not the traditional medicine, which has been there for a long time, but was not even able to remove a jigger from a msoga. Can you imagine? Now, traditional medicine is the sum total of knowledge, skills, and practices based on theories, beliefs, experiences indigenous to different cultures. Whether explicable or not, this has been used to maintain health as well as prevention, diagnosis, and improvement of and treatment of physical and mental illness. Unfortunately, this is mostly secret.
Okay.
We acknowledge that herbs are making their mark, and we also believe in the power of herbs. And this is why many drugs are made out of herbs. But that said, you cannot just rely on herbs alone. You have to scientifically prove that drugs, certain substances can work, and eventually use them, whether they are natural as herbs or not. When we use herbs, we compound them, we make them better for better use by human beings. And by so saying, that's why whenever in African society here, whenever we talk of a herbalist, we are actually talking of a person who is using magic, a witch doctor. And this is why now they have those titles, doctor, professor, and so on. I'm sorry, when I was coming in, I was calling them wish doctors, but I should have said witch, but I wanted to avoid that one. Because I recognize their great work which they have done. But of course, this great work does not come without problems. Now, the great work has been done because their trade has been handed over through generations. But unfortunately, this has not been expounded. Why hasn't it been expounded? The problem has been, one, if your father was a herbalist and you become a herbalist, so that is very good. If your father was a herbalist and is intending to make you a herbalist and he dies all of a sudden, all that knowledge is wasted. It will not come up. If your father was a herbalist and he bears no children, he may most likely not hand over his trade, because this is very secretive. As far as doctors, medical doctors are concerned, we are not actually supposed to keep our treatments secret. The Hippocratic Oath in part says, "I will respect the hard-won scientific gains of those physicians in whose steps I walk, and gladly share such knowledge as is mine with those who are to follow." But you will find that professor does not want even the person, the neighbor seated near him, to know what he's doing, because he will steal his knowledge and even do it better. So that is one very, very big problem. And this is one problem we realize when we try to integrate herbal medicine with our modern medicine. It is true that steps we have tried to go ahead and try to harmonize the two, because medical doctors realize that the herbalists are doing a good job. But that good job requires to be standardized, modernized, and also regulated, because there are so many quacks. We don't say that there are no genuine people. They are genuine herbalists. But then there are very, very many people who are not genuine, the quacks, the chatterlines as we call them, the people who claim they can cure this and that, and even tell them, don't take the Kizungu drugs, use
But
alternatives.
doctor, we also have quack doctors at Mulago Hospital.
Yes.
Not necessarily these ones.
And
those could
the
even-
quack doctors in Mulago are about 3% of the total doctors. But the quack doctors in as far as herbalists are concerned are 99%. So you can imagine, that's why we talk about them, because there are no serious qualifications which will make a person become a herbalist. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is all I'm saying. I'm not condemning, I'm saying let them join us, but we shall require themselves to be standardized first.
Thank you so much for giving us your time here. A very big round of applause to Dr. Karanga, a very resourceful doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like actually to probably get one from here. Now, this is a debate. You are free, after his 10 minutes, you are free to interject, raise a point of information, raise a point of inquiry. You welcome Mr. The herbalist sir. Is it the herbalist sir? Engineer Alex Victor.
I want to, first of all, register my respects to all of you who are here. And my English name is Alex Victor Biomag. And my vernacular reference is Tugume Tuiziche wa Rangano wa Kalbanga Kabuhujiro wa Kasiri Kamwijana ya Chikuta Chakwekwe. I'm an engineer, teacher, and herbalist.
So you are both tradition and convention. You are both tradition and convention. Because I think engineering, you must have studied engineering.
Yes, I did.
So you are conventional. You can as well sit with Dr. Karanga and come back and sit.
No, I want to rule out what you are referring to, their medicine as modern and this one as indigenous, but at a later stage. It goes without saying that the biomedical doctors prefer to refer to us as witch doctors. Witch doctors to mean magicians. And if I can quote Thomond, the word magic means anything you can see in life, you are sure it works, but you cannot establish the rationale under which it works. If I'm right, when Dr. Karanga entered, he was shivering, saying, I'm sure I'm not going to meet witch doctors. We are the same people that you call witch doctors, but we are not. And I want to split what you call witch doctor. Assume I have talked about what they call magic. And what actually captivates these people when they hear people on my side referring to themselves as doctors. If I can quote your medical dictionary, the word doctor is defined as anyone who has attained the highest qualification in any of the existing disciplines, that is a doctor of philosophy. And it also describes, it gives two meanings. The second is, that is you, a courtesy title of someone who has drunk from rivers of medical science to be able to differentiate him from other titles like Mr., Mrs., and Reverend, and Bishop. Now, if I can quote Thomond again, Thomond gives the third definition of a doctor as someone that is superbly versed at what he's doing in any of the existing disciplines on this universe. doctor was describing something that rather captivated me, that almost made me jump out of my chair when he gave an insalubrious definition and perception of what he knows as a herbalist. When he talked about the treatment of a fibroid, we are so sure, because where we treat people, patients run, even those people that have trained as the biomedical doctors come with problems of fibroids. And we don't hide what we use, as you were alleging. A herb that is called the Triampheta rhomboidea, you can check on your computer when you go, treats when concocted with the Maintenance senegalensis. Maintenance senegalensis.
Does Dr. Karhanga remember those terminologies?
He's writing, he's noting down. He has been to school.
Okay.
And because I'm not going to die in the next 4 days, you can bring over somebody that has been troubled with a fibroid, and I give you the indigenous science. So when we call ourselves doctors, please don't salute, because somehow we are versed with what we are doing. Then you described something that you called Umluluza. Umluluza in science is Vannonia amygdalina, and it has got a series of other species: Vannonia auricifera, Vannonia lasiopas, Vannonia smithiana, and about 7 others. These people, if you never knew, have been proven by some other science all over the universe, and data has been put down. I can lend you with the literature that I have. We know the compounds that normally exist in herbs and their molecular structure. There is literature when you take bother to find out. We can sacrifice to lend you some of it. So when we use it, there is data on the internet, there is data in books. We move with some of the books. We have a series of others. Because we are doing this because we think in the future we have to give a tilt to the existing insalubrious curriculum that normally locks people in schools. In a colonial acting manner, they begin to teach them on how Vasco da Gama, for example, went around Cape of Good Hope. And then people come out of school, they're not able to make ends meet. God, in the first place, had surrounded us with all forms of plants to be used for shelter, for food, and for medicine. It is out of our ignorance that we never actually paid attention to make use of these. Now today, as I say, the people, my biomedical doctors, understand to be highly illiterate GGPs, have picked up the arms to begin to mold the life.
That those ancient people used to treat using death.
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
I've not denied that herbs work. I mean, I've not said herbs don't work or food doesn't work. But are they effective in all disease conditions?
If they are not effective, the gentleman has just told you. Wait a minute. The gentleman has just told you, Engineer Alex, that in their operation centers, they do not have mortuaries. They don't have incinerators. That means they don't kill anybody.
Because they just throw them away. Haven't you had people's body parts which have disappeared in their treatment places?
Mr. Deo Mutabazi, President Beach Soccer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Karhanga and the herbalist. When I entered here, I've almost found counterparts, modern herbalist, and I also have this to say, that since Dr. Karhanga concurs with these people, that they substantially have a lot to do with treatment. And we all agree that the modern medicine also does wonders in treatment. The best way should have been what doctor proposed. How do we utilize the both efforts in treatment? Dr. Karanga, you've mentioned that your son almost got problem with the treatment from the doctors, the herbalists. For you, lucky you was there. I lost my daughter out of dubious quack doctors in Zambia Ruvaga Hospital.
Not these traditional.
Not these ones. My daughter, I'm sorry to take you back, but I was a bit, I've remembered the scenario because I did not go to court like what others are doing. I took my loss back. The doctors admitted a child who was not sick because the mother fainted and the child cried for so long. By the time I reached the hospital, I found a child on a drip. I asked, what is the problem with these young doctors, the small girls that are doctors? They told me, we don't know, but she's not breathing well. Was she sick? They told me, yes. I said, no. This child has not been sick. Then the young doctor came, tried to console me. I gave them the benefit of doubt. One day, 2 days, if a young kid of 4 months on a drip on oxygen for a week, and the lungs all dried inside, and they started telling me that there's a problem with the lungs. I asked them, what is the problem? Said we must pierce here, remove the fluid that is inside. They took a kid. I first refused, but the man convinced me that he's a doctor. I also took his word that maybe he's doing what he knows. Took my young girl, put on top of a table, and they pushed me outside and closed it. Started piercing the injections from outside that they are removing something. From there they covered and brought the kid. The kid started changing. Someone claimed that he's the consultant. She even never touched on the kid to diagnose, but she based on what these small young boys were telling her. Then she also said, no, leave this drug, go and buy this one. We don't have it here, buy from Shore House. Very expensive drug. I reached Shore House. The pharmacist asked me, how old is the kid? I said 4 months. She told me, this drug cannot work on a kid of 4 months. It's too strong. He said, I have a number of the doctor. Talk to her. The doctor was called from Ruvaga and convinced the pharmacist, no, bring. By the time I reached the hospital, the doctor was not there. The drug was given to these girls. I also went for work. So what these girls did, and these small doctors there, they got what the doctor had stopped from using. They injected the kid. Even this one I brought, they also entered and injected the kid on the same time. The kid turned black and died. In Ruvaga Hospital. These are big hospitals. It is not Nyachivale or deep down in Cape where I come from. It is Ruvaga Hospital. I was going to instruct my lawyers to sue the hospital, but as a family they said, you have lost. Take her down and go and bury your daughter. So what do I conclude with? This should be a concerted effort. The herbalists and the modern medicine, we work together to wipe out the quack personnel that are within these two professions and sectors. Because I know that there are herbalists, those they call abayunji. Someone is broken, is in Movende, and someone is working on that person here in Kampala, and the person gets better. Do you think that? I don't know what kind of science. So we need to really see how best we can all work together, because we need their information, and as Dr. Karanga said, we need these people as well, because they have sophisticated equipments that can actually ease your work. Because for them, they can diagnose and bring out the problem, and then for you do the treatment.
Okay.
Otherwise, I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mutabazi Deo. I'm very happy that he has agreed he can learn from them and they can learn from him. That's an interesting statement. Yes, Annette Ntambi. Is it a point of information? Let's have this mic.
Dr. Karuhanga has confirmed that there are risk factors associated with the practice. And we very well know that herbs are real drugs. Chemical medicine or modern medicine also contains toxins. So now I have seen so many patients, there are very many patients in Mulago there who have their Budomola aside and yet they are admitted in hospitals. And they are on drugs, rather on prescriptions from
the traditionalists.
From both sides, but he's admitted. So, yes, their tenants come with.
That's all, Doctor. Doctor, that's all I'll give you time. Go ahead, finish up your thought.
So now, I don't know what has the health sector done to educate people about this practice. Because very, very few of the people I met, I talked to, agreed that there was a problem. So many of them believe that if this one doesn't work quickly, then side B works. Actually, if you mix, it even heals faster. People get, they recover fast. So, what has the sector, both sides, what have you done to educate people about this? Because there are very many risk factors.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So, coming to the issue of quack doctors, when you look at the issue of quack doctors, they are in both sides. They are in both sides, and actually this goes to all, could I say, stakeholders, government, people in charge, because really today, everyone, actually it's a very big lamentation here in Uganda, it's so big, because in Uganda the education system is terrible. If somebody said, hey doctor, I can also support that person because we have got a majority of the UPE doctors. People who don't know, imagine one time I have a child, my child was ill. I took him to a medical center, a very well-known and a very expensive one, and that's IHK. I am not really, anyone can quote me for this. I take for the child and they say, no, we have to diagnose this boy. Thorough diagnosation. I paid a lot of money and they're diagnosing the child, and after everything, all the lab tests, the doctor calls me and says me now, honestly speaking, what could be this boy's problem? How do you ask me a parent who has no medical training, and so it really puzzled me. I looked at the doctor, and my sister works in that hospital. I told her, no, Rita, I don't understand this. Why are they asking me? Am I the one well, that's why I'm here. I'm not to offer the solution to the child. I was pissed off. They told me, no, you need to say a petition. I need to pay more money to say a petition. So all what the journey I came from was all just a wasted journey. I was so pissed, and a cleaner, thank God for a cleaner in that hospital. A cleaner got concerned, came and checked the baby, looked at him, told me, no, my dear friend, this boy must be having measles. Do you know this NKJ? Do you know this and this? Please go try, do that. Huh? I went home. I majestically went home. I left everything there, and I went and I did what the woman did. My son got fine. Honestly speaking, there's a problem with the conventional medications and analysis also today. You people, we don't expect, when we come to you, it means that we have entrusted our lives to you. Please, we have to check on that. Thank you very much, Andrew. I can come back again because I've not even exported everything. Thank you.
Two were Western Uganda and two were in Eastern Uganda. The other one is Great Africa Radio in Mbarara, Tropical FM in Mubende, Voice of Teso in Soroti, and Voice of Busoga in Jinja. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Irumba Katsabe, your host or your speaker for this evening. We were discussing, trying to see whether we can actually do away with the traditional healers and we remain with the conventional doctors or vice versa. But what we have come out from the discussion is that they are both very important, and they agree that each one of them supplements the other.